Hey, everybody, I'm Jane.
And I'm Sarah.
And you're listening to the Medium Curious podcast, the show that's real curious about the mystery.
Oh, it sure is.
Yes, we are.
Yes. And our guest is too. We've got on Jeff Kober today. He is an author, a super prolific actor who's been on The Walking Dead, Buffy, Supernatural, Highway to Heaven. He's going to be on The Pit in January. And he's also, and this is why we have him on today, a meditation teacher.
Yes, he's a meditation teacher, and in the same tradition that I participate in, which is something I really love. So I'm excited to share y'all with him. Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. All right. Well, Jeff Kober, thank you so much. We're so excited to have you here on Medium Curious. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks so much for having me. It is an experience that I am looking forward to. I have no idea what it's going to be, but I guess we'll see.
We make no promises.
Nor do I. So
okay. Well, we're just here embracing the mystery.
Oh, mystery. Yeah. Let's just talk about that. Let's talk about the mystery. You want to just start
right there?
Yeah.
Just jump right into the abyss.
Yeah, I think so.
So the mystery is a great place to begin. And so tell me, what perspective, what paradigm do you look at the
taking over the
through?
mic.
He's a podcaster. What are you going to do? I love it.
I got to know who I'm dealing with here. Because, you talk to someone about meditation or about spiritual truths or about the existential questions of life, you're going to have a completely different conversation with someone who's driving a taxi and has never meditated before, compared to someone who's has a PhD in theology. I had some poor kid was here the other day who his family came from a family of missionaries, and he was trying to sell us solar, and I trapped him at the table for half an hour talking about Jesus, and he was like, "Oh, I never thought of it that way." So,
also, will you buy my solar?
I think he just wanted to get out of here by the time it ended. But all I wanted to do was to mess him up and to cause him to question the things that he saw as concrete truths. Because that's the real problem, isn't it? It's like someone has a concrete truth that's unassailable.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they've changed the playing field. You can't play in the place you really want to play if they're saying, nope, that's concrete. Don't you anything you say is not going to touch it. This kid was young enough and sat there long enough that he went. So.
Yeah, I think it's so good. It's so rich. I think not having things be so concrete is where all the joy is for me. And it's taking me a really long time to get to this point where I don't need to have all the answers, but just realizing that the more I peel back of what has always felt concrete, I do start to feel more hopeful, more possibility, more expansion. And I hope that other people can pull back the concrete a little bit.
Yeah, he had the jackhammer. Our friend Jeff was like, listen, man. But I was like, when I was in my 20s, I had it all figured out and I was born again. And then luckily college cracked me. And then I've been on a crazy journey since. But since we're not here to talk about me, Jeff, tell us a little bit about...
Oh, you completely skipped over my question. What?
No, did I though?
What is just in 25 words or less? What is the paradigm of life loosely that you're able to make sense of life through?
Well, Sarah, I think just shared her 25 words or less. I mean, is that true, Sarah? Like, would you say the not knowing is a lot of your? And then I promise I'll answer, but I'm tossing it back to Sarah first.
I think it's that paradox of needing to know what the answers are and then realizing, oh, there are none. There are no answers, because I think we're going to date this podcast right now by talking about like all the stuff that happened this past weekend. There was so much that happened that was, there was the shootings in Bondi Beach. There was the shootings at Brown. There was Rob Reiner. And we want to try to make sense of all of that. And there is no sense to be made of it. That's just where I am right now today. Okay. So I'm sorry I'm bringing that up right off the bat.
No, it has to be brought up.
Yeah. So I think trying to wrap everything up with neat answers doesn't really work. It doesn't. So how do you make sense of it, Jeff? I want to know how you make sense of stuff.
Well, you're speaking my language when you say that we don't have to find the answers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one step further along that track is we're meant to live in the question.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I find it essential that I also have, along with that, the idea that the universe itself is infinitely loving and kind and wants nothing for itself than its highest good, its most expansion, its greatest growth, its greatest ability and capacity to have compassion for itself and love itself in the form of me, to the form of you, to the whole of the world. That's the underlying truth of the idea of consciousness as a oneness and unity and the basis for all of life, which is the way I see it, which is the way Vedanta sees it, the ancient teachings of the East. That said, we're not having the experience of unbridled spirit or unbridled consciousness. We're having the experience of consciousness embodied, and consciousness can only embody by forgetting its oneness with itself. And you and I are living through the illusion that we are separate beings, when in fact we are slightly different expressions of this one whole truth. And when societies, when groups are separated from that underlying truth, they operate as if they are individuality. And from individuality, we are solely and wholly at the mercy of the ego and the animal nature, which must find safety now, which must get rid of its fear now, which must destroy that over there in order to be okay over here. And that's what we're seeing played out. And how does that match the oneness of all and the infinite loving compassion of the all for itself? That's the question to live in. And by living in that question and knowing that if the consciousness is oneness and if it is true, it must make sense at some level. So can I continue to expand my consciousness enough to contain even these seeming opposite realities?
That's the mystery. That's the question. Yeah. That's the capacity.
That's it. I love that. I wanted you to know, Jeff, because I know you're a photographer and a visual person, that when you first started speaking about that consciousness and how it's essentially like embodied, I had this amazing image of all these little heart bubbles, and they were like streaming into the top of your head, and they were coming out of your mouth. Now, everyone on this show knows I'm sober, and they probably wonder sometimes, but really, are you, Jane? But
or thank goodness you are, Jane.
Yeah, there's that.
There's like all of it, really.
Flashback. Yeah.
But it was so beautiful. I just had to share this vision, and like, I'm just wondering, and just to answer for my 25 words, it's like, how much can the bubbles fly out of my mouth and how much do I eat them? Meaning like the ego, like you say, wants to secure safety and secure its stature. And so
Yeah.
to me, that's a lot of it. That's a lot of how I perceive it is like, and for me, because there's a lot of like negative self-talk that likes to like pull the reins back on any version of me, I have to be so compassionate. So I'm like, oh, sweetheart, to my little ego, even, like I'm just like, oh, sweetheart to all the parts right now, because it's the only way I can stand up
Yeah. Good.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that. But I'd love to hear a little bit about what brought you to the journey of being a meditation teacher and a little bit about your particular brand of teaching, if you don't mind sharing about that too.
Uh, I came to being a meditation teacher by spending my life looking for relief
Mm.
from the hell that was the inside of my head,
Mm.
and uh, I was a reluctant meditator in the tradition of Vedic meditation because I had tried everything else and nothing had worked, and I was uh, clean and sober for 17 years and still miserable a good share of the time.
Wow.
And I had a thought one day. I was 48 years old, 17 years sober, and it's just nothing seemed to uh, be working to actually transform my experience. And I said, I guess this must be it. If it hasn't changed by now, I guess it ain't going to change. I'm going to have to be okay with the way things are. And I literally, I don't know why, but I had the thought, I guess I've got about 70% of a life back. That's going to have to be enough.
Mm.
And I thought, it's sort of like, and pardon me, my Canadian brothers and sisters, it's sort of like, the Canadian buck. It'll buy you stuff, not as much as an
Ah.
American dollar, but um,
Ah. I'm
and
Canadian.
then
I'm Canadian.
you know how to get a bunch of Canadians out of the pool?
How?
Everybody out of the pool. That's, sorry.
Oh, God bless Canadians. I love them.
I love Canadians, and especially compared to their southern neighbors right now. It's like, good Christ. So about 6 weeks after I had this idea and this surrender to just what was, and my wife came home, and she had spent the afternoon with our friend Renee Stahl, and um, Renee's an extraordinary singer and a spiritual seeker, and my wife Adele said, so Renee went to this guy and he gave her this word, a mantra, and you repeat the word inside and it makes you happy. I said, how nice for
Distilled.
Renee. And she said, no, he's coming to town. We got to go see him. I said, this is absurd. Nothing has worked. And she talked me into going to this intro talk. And Renee called me afterwards and said, so what'd you think? I said, I don't know. We left. She called me a loser and said, okay, he's coming back to town next month. You have to go. And, Renee called me. So what did you, and I said, I don't think so. And she said, call this number. So I called the number and it was that guy. I called him and I said, he said, so I hear you have some issues. I said, yeah, okay. So what's this? Why are you asking for money? I heard that spiritual teachings are, you're not supposed to charge for them. He says, well, the practice itself is priceless. What you're paying is for my availability. You're paying for my time. And he said this, despite the fact that there are churches in this world that are the largest landholders on earth. So a case could be made that they're charging for spirituality. Okay. And what else? And I said, okay, so why should I trust you? He laughed and he said, don't trust me. Trust the way you felt when I was telling you about this.
Mm.
And I'm, oh, okay. And so I signed up, and the next day I went and I got a mantra, and I had the experience immediately that I was here and my thoughts were over here.
Ah,
Wow.
And it was like the angels sang, because for the first time ever, if you don't have a spiritual connection within, then you look within and what you see are your thoughts and your feelings. And if I see nothing other than my thoughts and my feelings, I'm constrained to the belief that they are me. And if
Right.
I have bad thoughts and uncomfortable, bad, quote unquote, feelings, then in order for me to be okay, I have to change those thoughts and feelings. And it's a fool's errand. You can't. The feelings are just the feelings, and the thoughts are generated without my permission constantly. But now suddenly I'm something other than these
yeah.
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah.
So I was all in, and I just started going back and listening every time this guy came to town to talk. And I'm from Montana. I was raised to help out, so I started helping out, putting up chairs and welcoming people, and I ended up apprenticing with this teacher for a couple of years, and then he said he was going to make meditation teachers. He was going to have a
Make
course
them.
to make them. His
Craft
idea,
up
not
some
mine.
meditation teachers.
And I said, yeah, well, good. But I want no part of it. I said, I'm an actor, man. And he said, yeah, but you are actually a teacher, whether you want to be or not. You've been here too long. You know too much. And the only question is, will you be an informed teacher or an uninformed teacher? I said, come on, man. Look, I'm an actor. You're the guru. Give me a pilot. I don't want to be a teacher.
Why did you get that together, babe?
And he said, you can do both. Oh God. So I went through the process of becoming a teacher, which was several months long and very intense. And the day I graduated the course to become a teacher, I got a call from my manager offering me, I was being offered a job. And I had made the plan to drive to Montana from Arizona, where I had learned to be a teacher, and I was going to teach two courses there, one in one end of the state and one in the other end of the state, because I had people there. And the job was to begin the day after I would finish my second teaching in Montana. So it was just like the perfect dovetail and just evidence that,
Yeah.
yeah, you can do both.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Oh, I just got
And the
chills.
biggest gift for me is that I had to continue learning to be able to teach. And every time I taught, I learned more and had to expand further and had to become someone who actually could offer other people a tool that would move them in the direction of hope, move them in the direction of joy of living, and in the direction of relief from the hell that the inside of someone's head can be.
I love that you said you keep learning. I think that's a part of the mystery too. There isn't ever a point where we know everything. And especially like if you're trying to teach this work where you get to the point where it's done, you're finished, you've made it. Ha ha. It's an
Yeah.
ongoing thing.
Well, it's, and when you really think about it, it's such an absurd notion to think I've got this.
Yeah.
It's an infinite universe and you've got it. Sorry.
Come again?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I've told a couple of people in my life, if you ever hear me say, you know what, I got it, just slap me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Sure.
whack me, get me.
Yeah,
I
you have.
wonder-
We're in a body in order to learn, and
Yeah.
in order to offer what we learn. to others, not necessarily in the form of, hey, I know how you should live your life, but just in the by being an example of what this is about, by being an expression of the love that consciousness has for itself, and by, you know, when we really get in touch with the fact that we are spirit having a human experience rather than humans trying to get in touch with spirit, then we are fulfilled within. So we don't have this desperate need to get attention or love or safety from someone else. So we can walk into a situation legitimately asking, how can I be of service? And offering rather than trying to get. And you end up being a positive in every situation that you enter. It's an extraordinary gift, and that
beautiful.
requires continually being, I don't know how it's supposed to go. Let's go see.
Yeah. We just had here on this platform that we record on, Riverside, they did this roundup. I don't know if you saw it, Sarah, of like, it did this like, you know, it kind of like, and it's kind of funny. It like a little bit mocked us. Like, here's the word you said the most. And it was a montage of me going, beautiful, beautiful. I was like, okay, that's cool. But I think if it had gone deeper, it would have been like, our montage would have been like, we don't know. What we know is that we don't know. We think we know, but we don't know. And that's part of the charm of this whole joint is like, you're saying, you know, knowing, it just creates a lot of friction. You know, like that happened to me this weekend. Someone came up to me and was like, let me tell you how to fix this. And they just laid all their knowing on me. And I was like, I need to be more supple right now because I don't know how to tell her I don't want to know her knowing. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, I mean, it's sort of like that sweet boy in your house. They're coming at you with their knowingness. And so that's part of my stretching and learning right now is like, how do I engage those knowers? Do you know?
How do you engage those knowers?
Well, the word supple did just come out of my mouth, and I think that's
Yeah.
it, right? Like, how can I just soften and be and kind of admire their knowingness without being a knower who knows that you can't know? Right?
My one of my metaphors for this is, you know, be the bullfighter, not the cape, man. You know, someone's coming at you for a reason. Step aside, let them come. But just step
Yes.
aside and, oh, wow,
Yeah.
that was a nice pass.
You're right.
Again? Okay, here we go.
Nice snorting. Yeah, like, cool. See you later, man.
Stomp. Snort,
Stomp,
snort.
stomp, snort. Yeah, that's great. Be the bullfighter, not the cape. I'm in. I love that. I'm gonna take that around with me. Thank you. I'm really curious, Jeff. When you, I love that your teacher, who happens to be my teacher randomly, just to add to the fun that we're having. I sat in 2008. So I don't know how many years after that I think you were already a teacher or you were on your way to being a teacher.
I became a teacher in 2007. I think I
Okay.
learned meditation in 2003.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was a new mom. Wait a minute. Was it 09? It was in that zone. I think it might have been 09 because I think I had an infant. And I was like, this is too much. This is way too hard. I can't, this life. Ugh. And my dear, dear friend, who you may know in the circles, Jody Hahn, was like, oh, here's what you're going to do. You know, it was similar. I was like,
Jody Hahn?
Yes.
Oh my God. I love Jody.
She's my bestie.
It's fantastic.
Well, along with Sarah and about 12 other people. But yes, she's
You're allowed
one
to
of
have
my
more than one
besties.
bestie.
I do. I love these people on this earth. So anyway, I just wanted to say that's kind of a fun unity point that when you talk about your teacher, I know your teacher. And where was I going with all of that? So, I love that person who shall remain nameless said that you could hold both things, acting and meditation. And I'm just curious, once you had this kind of wisdom starting to pour into your body, how did that change acting, or did it, or is there any kind of fun?
Oh, it transformed it absolutely. My my life as an actor is due to the fact that I had so much repressed emotion, and acting gave me a place to put it. It was like when I saw what was actually happening in an acting class, I went there, by accident. Um, and it was like when I was in high school, I was 220 pounds, and I got on the football field and I went, "Oh, that's what this is for." And like that, I was in an acting class and went, "Oh, are you kidding me?" And
That's what these
because
emotions are for.
the terror of exposing yourself and being
Mm.
vulnerable on stage was so great that I would make myself get down into the feelings I'd been denying and avoiding and shutting off from for decades, and so it began uh, to be the place where I was able to use all of that and begin to find some semblance of freedom. But then, having that experience of being separate from the feelings and really beginning to know that I am something other than this mess of a human, it it, it changed the way that I approached acting. I didn't, as I went along, I didn't have to torture myself as much, and it became progressively easier to access the the depth of this emotional self, and it continues to expand and grow. I'm just finished one job, and I'm in the middle of another job, and it's the most free I've ever been, and it's not different from the feeling of freedom I have before action and after cut. It's I commit to a different intention. I commit to living from a deeper, more grounded emotional truth that is based in whatever story I'm acting out. But the freedom is the freedom, and before every take, I have a certain uh, you know prayer or different prayers that I say that are all about, let me come from a place of not knowing what's supposed to happen. And you mentioned the word friction, and when I don't know what's supposed to happen and I'm discovering what's happening, that's what we go to movies and watch television for, is
Mm.
to have that experience of freedom that is being offered to us by someone willing to live out a moment of freedom on the screen.
Oh,
Oh,
So
beautiful. That's beautiful.
beautiful. That is beautiful. Now that we're so busted with that word.
Oh gosh,
It
I
is, though.
love the arts. I love that we can be acting out this scene of life and yet have that layer of the arts to help us, experience it on a different level. I'm a musician. I'm a classical musician, so I play in orchestras, and that whole emotional, being able to express emotion through something that's other than me in this meat suit. Well, I am playing music in my meat suit, but you know what I mean.
and what's your instrument?
Oboe.
Wow, that's so intense.
So
I
yeah.
There are two very special people in my life who have been oboists, and one
Whoa.
of them, Earl Dumler. The Carpenter song, Superstar.
Yeah.
Don't you remember you told? There's an extraordinary oboe solo in that. That's Earl.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I'll have to go and listen
Yeah,
to that again.
yeah. And then someone I was in college with. Exactly that, and it's, as a classical musician, you're using yourself for a greater good. Yes, you're playing all the right notes in the right way, but you're listening within
Yeah.
for that music, and you're listening without, so that your music supports, blends in, and adds to
Yeah.
the whatever's being said.
Oh, you know. You get it.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. David Hawkins says a beautiful thing about life. He says, if when you're in the orchestra, you don't get to hear the symphony.
Yeah.
You're just in each note, and
You experience it in a completely different
you,
way.
you get to experience the flow of
Yeah.
a symphony
Mhm.
arising,
Yes.
which
Ooh,
Oh, I
is
love it.
arising.
which is I would rather do any day than listen to a symphony.
Play
Just
it.
because, it's that's the experience that
Yeah.
we long for.
Yes. Yeah.
Creation.
Yeah. Creation. Yeah, indeed.
Creation and collaboration, which I don't think a lot of people do, but that's a film set too. Like there is a
100%.
symphony happening. I mean, I'm a director, Jeff. I don't know if we talked about that. So, when you have each department like holding the different aspects of what needs to happen and all kind of in service of a story, it's really exciting because like you're saying, you can kind of just get in there and be a part of rather than, I mean, that's been my escape from my head for a long time, was to
Well,
make
and
something.
what it also offers us is a constant opportunity to find ourselves having an ego demand
Hmm.
and letting it go to serve the desire of consciousness to know itself and love itself. And so if someone, my first day on set of one of these recent jobs, there was a producer on set who's not the regular producer on set, and there was a conference of the heavyweights happening over here, and I was just standing around, being the guy, and this guy pushes past me, and sort of just as if I weren't, kind of bumps me and moves past me, and I was able to see, at another time in my career, in my life, in my growth, I would have gone like, I would have, and then I would have marked that guy. Every time I saw him, he was going to get my evil eye, and excuse me, I would make sure that he knew who he was messing with. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, right.
and instead, I was literally able to say to myself, "Wow, he's having an intense day. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to be left out.
Yeah.
He wants to matter."
Yeah, he wants to matter. Oh, I love that.
Insert compassion here.
Yes. Yes. One of my
Uh,
favorite memories on set was going to the burrito person. That's the best, the breakfast burrito. And they said, "Hey, what are you doing on set? Are you the PA?" And I was like, "No, I'm the director." It was
That's
so
crazy.
cute. What's fun? I was looking at your filmography and thinking about how all the titles actually are really fun, and that your spiritual journey is like reflected in some of the titles, like Sons of Anarchy, The Walking Dead, Shameless, Lost. You're on Supernatural. Do you remember Kim Rhodes by any chance from
I
Supernatural?
do. Yeah,
She's
absolutely.
another one of my besties.
Oh my God,
I know.
that's fantastic.
She is fantastic. But do you see what I mean? There's like a lot of like
Highway to
supernatural.
Heaven was my
Highway to
first really big
Heaven.
role.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. Love's Long Journey. So what do you think about that? Do you think your roles are coming to you as you're evolving? And what's the name of some of the newer projects?
100%. The
Oh,
the
yeah?
roles have been, oh my God, yeah. I've just been I've been working on my memoir. God help us. And
Is that what
I
it's called?
just no. Here's what it's called. It's called The End of the Pain Factory, from a living hell to pretty fucking good in just half a lifetime.
Yes. That's so
Yeah,
good.
I'd read that.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
But I just wrote the the piece where I get the job that's supposed to change me inside and make it okay to be me, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And I tried to get drunk and high afterward, and it no longer worked.
Mm.
And 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 I was leading up to that moment. Each thing led to the next, led to the next, led to the next, and each job prepared me to be able to do the next job. And the Highway to Heaven was a job just before this one, which was the movie Out of Bounds. And Highway to Heaven caused me to expand in a way that I didn't ever think I'd have the opportunity to do. But when you expand and you're dealing with demons, the demons they get loosed. And then you're at the mercy of them. And then once they were loose, they were like, yeah, you can drink all you want, but we ain't going away, man. And so that I stopped drinking and getting high 2 weeks into a 10-week shoot of this movie at the end of 1985. And it was called Out of Bounds, which is exactly,
Classic.
you can
Have all
see,
the fun with
okay, I
that.
guess you are. Yep, you are. So yeah. And then through the years, it's absolutely I can mark the jobs where I allowed transformation to occur, where I was able to step into the flow of what life wanted to have happen through me. And then there were massive swaths of time where I was just, at the mercy of me.
I love that phrase, at the mercy of me. That's so good. I keep writing down these gems. When we met a couple weeks ago, actually, listeners know about the crossing of my sweet domino. And it was wild because we were supposed to record that day. And then I was like, I don't have it. But you and I met and we hung out, and it was such a bright spot and it felt very orchestrated, that I got to sit with you on a day that was so, so difficult. And one of the things you said to me, though, is that you're a skeptic and that you don't necessarily believe in mediumship. And I'm just curious about that because it's great for us to have skeptics on the show. And I'm curious your perspective of the craft.
Oh, is that a question?
I think so. It's a soft lob.
Well, but just hold on 1 second here, because you said, Jeff, that we are spirit having a human experience. So if you're a skeptic and we're spirit, how can we not relate to other spirit who aren't embodied?
We absolutely relate to disembodied spirit.
Okay. So then you're not a skeptic.
Oh yeah, I'm a skeptic.
Okay. Explain your skepticism.
I allow for a willing suspension of disbelief, and I am open to hearing anything that helps me to move forward into growth. For example, Jane and I had a session last week.
I think, yeah, last week.
Yeah, and in the session, the first being, well, the second being that arose was, the first one might not have been a being; it might have been an idea, as I remember. And but
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. I think it was it sounded like an archetype of mine that had a voice, but then we were able to name uh, uh, a voice that came through as my cousin who passed at the beginning of this year, and um, who, among other things, was a biker, and um, I'm playing in. Uh, I'm shooting the second season of The Pit, and my at least in the press release, they called my character a motorcycle engineer. Um, but it's I'm the character is a former biker who now works on motorcycles and restores them, and is a friend of one of the doctors. And and after our session, I did the scene the one scene that I do that's well a couple scenes that I do with the motorcycle, and I'm down on set and waiting for action to happen, and I'm crouching down, checking the engine, and I found myself just saying, "This is fun, right, Terry?" And it was like, "Never thought you'd be here, did you?" And, I had a gas with that experience. Now, do I think the spirit of Terry was there with me? Well, yeah, but I'm not going to nail down the how of that. His
No.
his spirit is with me whenever I think of him, and
Yes.
and
100%.
what I know is that death does not at all take away my capacity to love Terry. Now, as far as Terry communicating with me, that's where my skepticism arises as a feeling, as a sense. I, I mean, I don't know. I'm willing to accept that that's a possibility, and that there are people that are far more sensitive than I am to that. But I don't know if I mentioned this, but many years ago, before I got sober, before I had I had some success as an actor. I don't know where the hell I was. I was still studying acting. But there was a guy named Fred Fassett, and he had a medium class, a medium and psychic class, and I was in it with some people from my acting class, and there was one actor who had been a child actor who became a channel as a result of going through this class. And I remember one night we paired off and we exchanged objects with each other. And I was holding this woman's ring, and I was getting very clear and specific images from holding that ring. I had no idea what they meant.
Mm-hmm.
And, and so, yeah, consciousness is infinite, and its desire is to love itself and to resist loving itself, and to walk through the resistance to the love. That's why we have a body, is to be able to have that experience,
Yeah.
because consciousness didn't embody just to have happy, happy, joy, joy, unicorn farts. It's just, it's like, it wants it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I still haven't heard anything that's skeptical from you, Jeff. I mean, come on. You just told me you were getting very clear evidence. You felt Terry while you're
I was getting very clear images. Yeah, and like,
Yes.
my friends that have passed on, we just went through the anniversary of my best friend's death, and whenever I think of him, there's a sense of him,
Yes. Yeah, that's it. That's
and
it. That's all there is.
and and then see, I guess it's like, how much of, like, if I say, my
If you
friend
let
Matt,
go of the resistance
yeah,
and just
what,
went further into that and
yeah,
expanded your capacity more to get curious about that experience, I think your mind would be blown. I think you should just allow. I mean, I'm feeling the same resistance from you surrounding this that you were explaining to us when you started your journey with meditation. That
It
resistance was
could
there.
be. And,
And also,
and, yes,
yeah,
and
I'm waiting.
I spend my time in communication with uh, expressions of consciousness
Mm.
that are uh, more expressive of the whole
Yeah.
Mhm.
rather than those
Specific.
that were sitting next to me on the bus of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you send out those your daily, is it daily
Daily
meditate?
thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
daily
Daily
thoughts.
meditation. Yeah.
So those feel pretty channeled to me.
I
I
was gonna
mean,
say that too.
yeah. So
Totally.
I mean, that's all in the same vein as all of this work that Jane and I talk about. And you're talking about it. It's all the same stuff. It really is.
Yes. Yes, it is. And that's I mean, the reason that I began by saying, what's your paradigm? Is because there is only one truth.
Yeah.
But what glasses am I looking at it through? From what perspective am I seeing it? You know, if we all stood around the statue of David, one of us would say, that's a fantastic bum. And, you know, someone else would say, look at that chest. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
same statue, different perspective.
That's right.
But we
Yeah.
could all agree that's an amazing
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point. That's the point. Our perspectives are different perspectives. That's the point
And
of
I can,
individuation.
yeah, and one of the great things about yes, and one of the great things about communication is that I get to be informed about and help to see from another perspective.
Mm.
And you know, I allow you the freedom to stand in your perspective and to share it with me, and I'll expand over into it. But I'm pretty I'm not content, but I okay. Let me put it this way. Uh, I'm willing to keep following the breadcrumbs that are dropping in front of me that move me in a direction, and uh, things like mediumship is a part of the greater whole. But there are also, and this is just to me, you know, some of the greatest teachers that I've studied say there are certain things which can uh, sidetrack
Mm.
one's spiritual growth.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm taking information from a disembodied source,
Mhm.
it's there's a possibility of getting sidetracked to me.
Well, they still have the glasses to some degree. You know, like the way I experience folks on the other side is they want to come through with the personality they had on Earth. So you're not getting source, you're still getting the perspective of a human. Right. So is that
Yeah,
along the lines of what you're saying? So
yeah,
so it's not like, I mean, I love this one medium in Oakland. She used to say, just because they're dead doesn't mean they're wonderful. Right. Like,
yeah. Well, and like also there was in our work last week. Your gifting to me of your perspective. I had I was offered the opportunity for more healing with my mother, which I took gladly. It's like, oh, uh, here's my father, who you know was a World War II veteran, and as I believe we talked about, he was
Mhm.
blown up in Okinawa, which was the last major battle in World War II in the Pacific. It was a horrible, uh, bloody conflagration there, and uh, he was very closed-mouthed about his experience for his entire life. And one of the last experiences I had with him, 3 or 4 weeks before he died, we went to the bar and sat down at a bar for the first time. And I was 23 years old, and first time ever we sat down and had drinks. And at a certain point, he said, I was like, oh my God, my father's going to tell me the secret of life. He's actually going to open up to me, and as if I mattered, as if I could hear what a man had to say. And I waited for the longest time, and then nothing happened. And I finally said, "What?" He said, "Forget it. You'll never understand." And I carried that for years as like, just it was like, it felt cruel, and
Yeah.
it felt mean spirited, and it felt dismissive, and then at times it felt like you missed an opportunity to offer something to your offspring, whereas I get to offer things to my offspring. And my wife Adele, I was writing about this experience probably 6 months ago, and I've always thought that if my father and my wife met, that they would love each other. And my father was a great man. He was just very, he had massive PTSD along with that greatness. Um,
Mhm.
and she said, I told her that story, and she said, oh, he didn't want to burden you.
Hmm.
He was carrying all that darkness, and he thought he would share it with you, and then he thought, no, why would I put this darkness on this guy who clearly doesn't need any more in his life? And it was like, I had never thought of that before. I had never
Mm.
imagined that perspective. And it was like, it was an expansion to allow that. Now, the truth of what was going on in my father's mind at that moment is, I, I have no idea.
Right.
But what a beautiful thing that after years of laboring under the illusion of and stuck against the seeming intractable fact of, you weren't good enough for me to tell you this. It was like, oh, it might be something else.
Yeah.
And wow. So
Yeah.
that can come from, someone speaking the words of someone who has passed on, as easily as it can come from, my wife understanding me and
That's right.
understanding my father through my perspective, but then adding her perspective of her own World War II veteran father and his
Mm.
alcoholism and all of that.
Wow. Wow,
And
you
so
share that. Wow.
God, consciousness, nature is always offering a leg up, is always offering permission for expansion and love and compassion. And some of us hear it in different ways. Some of us hear it at different times. Some of us can't hear it until we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, this is me trying to figure out how to elegantly close. We are just about out of time. That was such a beautiful statement that you just made. And I'm just wondering, like you're saying, like we're being invited all the time, whether we accept the invitation or choose not to, or we're following the breadcrumbs. But I'm curious if you have any offerings, like what would you wish for everyone that's listening today? Like, what would you wish for them?
I would wish everyone to know absolutely that the center of them, the very essence of them, that's what the spirit of something is the essence of that thing, the thing that is irreducible about that thing. And at the center of each of us is the purity of consciousness itself, which is perfect, pure, whole, and complete. It has never been touched by anything that was done to this body, mind, nervous system, or anything that this body, mind, nervous system has done.
Mm,
And that the devas or the beings of light or the angels envy we humans, for our capacity to feel what it's like to be that purity of consciousness, embodied and constricted by the embodiment, but that we're here to actually experience life and then to find the way to imbue that life, this life, each moment of it, with that consciousness that wants to have this experience. And that's not just the good experiences. It wants to have all of the experiences. And there is a beauty and a joy and a satisfaction to feeling the depths of our sadness and shame and guilt and anger every bit as much as there is a beauty to feeling the joy of existence. And we have to find a way to know that deepest truth of ourselves and to discover that truth within the moments of our lives. And that's spiritual work is absolutely essential. Meditation is absolutely essential to not be taken over by the separative nature of us and the problematic nature of us. And, you're here to learn, you're here to enjoy your life. How do I enjoy it when X, Y, and Z? What a great question to walk into any given day with.
Beautiful.
I'm not going to say it.
That's so beautiful.
That's so good.
That's so good.
That's so expansive. It's so fantastic. But it's also
yeah,
beautiful.
that's a great wrap up.
That is a great wrap up. And of course, we'll link all of your beautiful links to get on that newsletter list. I totally recommend it. I've been on it for years and years and years. I've been receiving the gift of your
Thank you.
downloads and beauty in my inbox. So I recommend that to everyone. And then, of course, we'll put in, you're still teaching, yeah?
I am. I teach meditation regularly. I'm in the middle of a course right now. Even as I'm finishing up on The Pit, dropping January 8th. I don't come in until the 10th episode of this season, but it's going to be great.
It's so fun. It's so fun talking to you, Jeff. You're just such a sparkly human, and I'm grateful for your presence in my life. So thank you for bringing you to our listeners.
Yeah,
God bless you. Thanks so much.
All right, we'll see you
soon. Lovely to meet you and talk to you, Sarah.
Absolutely. So nice to meet you.
Okay.
All right, my friend. Bye.
Bye.